Well, if I'm saying or not, I mean the same thing clearly, because yesterday we also did highlight that it was rather hasty on the part of the police, particularly, to have come to that conclusion at that point. And besides, too, I wonder why it was not the commissioner of police in Kaduna State who came and spoke. I mean, the commissioner was there, both commissioners of police, commissioner of information, security too in Kaduna, all those persons who were there in the same way that they all gathered and spoke vehemently to the press yesterday saying this did not happen. They should have done the same thing now. The first public relations officer shouldn't be trying to save their faces, because right now it's clear that the police in Kaduna and then all the others who attended that Security Council meeting did not advise the governor rightly. So now, clearly, this is a follow-up for our conversation which we had earlier yesterday on reports that is no longer alleged now, because it's confirmed that 177 church members in Kaduna State were kidnapped. Now, the police and some officials in the state denied that, but this morning we're joined by the chairman of the Northern Christian Association of Nigeria, Reverend Joseph Hayab, who also did speak on this matter earlier. Good morning, and thank you for joining us on the program today.
Thank you for having me, and good morning. With the beautiful news that we have after all the drama.
Yeah, so perhaps we should just backtrack for a bit, because yesterday when the reports were going back and forth, when they addressed that press conference, and people thought something is unclear here. If they were saying this is false, and we thought, well, who have their reporting lines deliberately fabricate this story? But I think it was after the show at some point that you then eventually went ahead and gave the list to, I think, commissioners. Maybe you should tell us about that, because we haven't heard them say anything ever since.
Sincerely speaking, what happened 2 days ago in Kaduna, the manner the police commissioner and other security agencies came out to outrightly said that this thing did not happen, to me is a total disappointment, a total failure, and it further just increased the lack of trust that exists between the people and those who are securing them. We have always been partners in progress. We cannot raise false alarm. We only tell police what we know and want them to do what they're supposed to do. Look at the time they were using in denial. That time they're supposed to be using pursuing the bandits. But they chose to allow the bandits to have gone far before they are coming to acknowledge that the information we gave them is true and meant true. Let's have this perspective. This incident happened on Sunday. The chairman of Kan Kaduna local government reached out to me and the chairman of Kan Kaduna State immediately with this information. The security, the police were aware of this information. The police even had a signal to police headquarters in Kaduna and to police AIG in Katsina confirming the incident. The chairman of the local government, who outrightly came out to lie, was in the community in the morning of Monday. Look, he acknowledged he was the one to first of all tell us that, look, the number of people you are thinking they took is more than what you are saying. And he took an excuse to leave the community and go to town and come back. That few hours was when he changed the story. When I was looking at him, I couldn't believe myself. That man, if it were to be in a civilized community, should ordinarily have resigned or be sacked, because he's not a representative of the people. He doesn't understand security. He actually have betrayed the people who gave him mandate. But that's by the way. The truth has come out. Police have acknowledged. The Christian Association of Nigeria, we have a chain of command and chain of information. The last thing I will ever do as a pastor is to say what is not true. This is not the first or the second time we are having this drama. We'll tell them and they will want to deny it. I remember a time they denied, or they wanted to even threaten us to withdraw one of our complaints, but finally they admit, and one of them told them, look, these people are closer to the community. The information they have, we need to work closely with them to get the information. You can see why the difficulty in solving Nigerian security problem. Those who are supposed to work with the people are instead intimidating the people not to speak the truth, are instead twisting the story that the people are telling them. And so nobody wants to tell them anything anymore. But as a pastor and as a leader, I am a Nigerian, a patriotic Nigerian. I will continue to help those who want to be helped in Nigeria so that Nigeria will see peace, Nigeria will enjoy peace, because the essence of bringing out this matter was to show that we care for our people, was to show that as Nigerians, we don't want our people to suffer in the hands of criminals. They should go after that. But they took all hours, all days, wasting time denying what they know was true. This is sad, and I pray that this lesson have learned, and someone should take responsibility for this terrible and evil mistake.
Go ahead.
Well, we're going to wait for people to take responsibility because, as we understand, it was a Security Council meeting convened by the governor. We want to believe that the governor, has taken note of all that has happened from the meeting that held, and now this acceptance of, the reality that is on the ground, that 177 or so worshippers in his state have been kidnapped while they were busy arguing as to whether or not such an incident took place. As a matter of fact, they did come out to tell the people, tell Nigerians that such an incident never took place. So I want to imagine that, there will be consequences for what it is that we're currently seeing. But I'm a little concerned because in recent times, there have been questions as to the relationship between Khan in Kaduna State. We know that prior to now, the relationship was sort of frosty. But in recent times, with the current governor, it would seem that relations have thawed somewhat. So some people will say, okay, perhaps, while the relationship might have, improved somewhat, clearly there are still questions of trust somewhere. The question is, between who and who? Is it between the executive arm of government and Khan, or is it with security agencies and Khan? Because why was this narrative? I would imagine that for anyone who is concerned about security, when such a report is, given, the first thing one wants to do is investigate, and that there should be no need to doubt. But clearly, trust cannot be taken for granted between the relationship that Khan has with the state government and security agencies in Kaduna. Do you want to speak to us as to what exactly is happening?
I am not currently the Khan chairman of Kaduna State. I was the Khan chairman during the El Rufai drama. The Khan chairman of Kaduna State is my brother and friend, Reverend Khaled Mahaji. He wasn't in the country when this thing happened. But every information I received was also passed to him. And because I'm the immediate leader, it is normal for them to reach out to me. And I'm the northern leader, so since I'm also a Kaduna person, so it was just okay for them to reach out to him, and they reach out to me, and I'll cross-check from him, and we cross-check from one another. Let me put it clear. Our relationship with Governor Uba is fantastic. Governor Uba have shown dedication. Governor Uba have shown openness. Governor Uba have shown willingness to correct the wrongs of yesterday. So we give him credit for that. What happened in this matter is terribly unfortunate, because who is this person that masterminded the lies to bring people from the local community claiming to have come from the a story that is not true? I think we need to know who is that and who are those people. Were they really from that community? Because sometimes when issues happen like this, there's so much claims. How could someone in his senses go to Security Council and say his father was not kidnapped, his mother was not kidnapped, his neighbor was not kidnapped, his friends were not kidnapped, and knowing fully that it happened? I believe those are impostors, and we need to know who are they. And whoever claimed that he brought them should also be questioned. Because, in this country, people think they can have their way and get away with it. We begin to hold people accountable for what they claim, for what they say. But for relationship's sake, Uba to us is fantastic. And that's why right from the onset, we said that this thing happened. And we are not bringing it to the public domain to embarrass anybody, but to call on security agencies to go after them, just as they have been doing it, and we have begun to have relative peace in Kaduna. We want them to go after this one. But it was poorly managed, or someone manipulated it. I think Obasani must have learned good lesson, understanding the voice that says the truth from the voice that is trying to please. You know, in politics, people want to please leaders for certain things. And you are doing him a disservice if you lie to him. You are doing him a disservice when you come publicly and claim what is not true. I think we love Uba more than them. We love Kaduna State more than them. We love Nigeria more than them. And we want to see progress. So it wasn't like someone was planning evil. If you're interested to know that some characters went to social media, said terrible things about my person, this and that, I hope they will be men enough to come out and apologize and retract their words, since now we have proved to them that we are not liars. We are people who love our country and love our people. I said somewhere yesterday, and I want to repeat here, if lives are involved, I wouldn't want anybody to play politics with it. And if lives are involved, and as a pastor and as a leader, I try to play politics, then I should hands off my license and stop preaching. If I'm preaching God's word, I should preach it with honesty and love. And what we did was transparent and love. No attack on anybody. Our relationship with Uba is strong. He will tell you when he later got a better update. We had a conversation. He didn't even know that the camp chairman had arrived and was with me. We told him basic truth. He appreciated our stance and our truth, and we agreed that they should go out and tell what actually they have found out, so that we can move forward and have a better Kaduna State that we are already enjoying. Enemies of our success are coming with different strategy. Let's not play into their hands. That mistake was playing into their hands. Fortunately, it has been corrected. I hope genuinely corrected, and we can continue going forward to remain that honest friendship, where when I see something, I will say something, and someone will believe that I'm saying something for the good of Kaduna State, not out of sentiment.
We cannot divorce it from this recent narrative about whether or not there has been a genocide against Christians in Nigeria, and that conversation, you know, is still raging. I see that you're laughing. Some people will say it's not a laughing matter. You know, it's a pretty serious matter, because the entire country was in some sort of distress when we saw the tweets from President Donald Trump. So I'm a little curious as to, you know, how you would also situate this within the context of the larger conversation as to whether or not there's been a genocide against Christians.
Well, whoever and whatever reason they did what they did, what I know during the genocide debate and controversy, in all the media I appeared, I consistently said the Christians in northern Nigeria, the Christians in Kaduna have suffered persecution, have been killed in thousands, have been killed in their hundreds. Whoever chose to refuse that is left for him. I, Reverend Hayab, speaking to you today, I was privileged to be in CAN leadership at the time the Sharia crisis happened in 2000. I know myself and other pastors buried 2,000 people. I also was privileged, unfortunately for me, in November, precisely on November 23, 2002, I buried over 350 persons, only me, Reverend Hayab, and one other imam, in a grave. So this evil have happened. None of those knew what happened about the beauty pageant, but our churches were burnt, our places where our members and pastors were killed. We feel the pain. So if anybody comes here and tells us that there is no persecution or there is no genocide, it all depends on his interpretation. I have said this even to my Muslim colleagues, that when you read your glorious Quran very well, you will agree that the glorious Quran said, if you kill one soul, it's as if you kill the entire humanity. So when we are looking at genocide, you don't need to wait to kill all of us before we call it genocide. So the debate is unnecessary, probably because it came from Trump, but someone have to spark up the conversation. And at this time, it was Trump. Another person will spark up another conversation in the future. What we want to see is genuine reconciliation, genuine respect for one another. I shouldn't be killed for any reason just because of my religious identity. I shouldn't be persecuted for any reason because of my religious identity. I should proudly celebrate that I belong to the North, celebrate that I belong to Kaduna, celebrate that my name is Joseph. Nobody should tell me that we don't have Joseph here. Nobody should tell me that I won't get other privileges because my name is Joseph or my name is John. These are issues that we know, but we love to pretend about it. We love to twist issues about it. Sometimes we say, no, Reverend Hayab, you know this killing is not only Christians. They are also killing Muslims. Brother, I am telling you that there is fire in my house. I don't know about fire in your house because you've not told me. If you tell me, then we'll commiserate with each other. First, commiserate with me because you know there's fire in my house. But if you want to make it as a competition, I wasn't telling you there's fire in my house for competition because I'm in pain. So I think that is where the mix-up came. And probably some people are still using that idea to interpret serious matters like this. When there is a problem, let's honor that it's a problem. Let's correct the problem so that generations to come will know that in our time, we saw the problem, we corrected the problem, and that's why they are enjoying. But if they come and still continue in the same problem, then we didn't do well. So the issues behind genocide and Christian persecution were things that we explained over and over. There were a lot of debates, but I think that one is gone now because reality is on ground that certain things are not going on well. Let's correct them. Let everybody feel belong in this country, be respected, be appreciated.
Okay, we understand that you've handed, or the list has been handed to Kaduna State government and the police authorities. So if that's not the case, you can speak to that. But could you speak to the circumstances? For instance, I mean, you see headline to the press where they just safely say over 100. Some say 163. But figure that you given to us is 177 specifically, with some escaping. So how did the church have, do they have this list of everybody who's coming in, or it was after the incident that the list of those who were missing were compiled and then verified that these people have actually been captured?
On the morning that these criminals came to our churches and picked our members, we were in worship, or the members were actually in worship. And you should know that one good thing about the church, we have statistics every Sunday. Every Sunday we will tell you how many people came to our church last Sunday, how many boys, how many girls, how many women, how many men, and even children. This is a practice of church since I was born, and I'm so happy with that data that the church will always keep. So we don't have problem knowing how many people come to our church, and especially when we are collecting offering, we also count people. But since they came and just picked people to the bush, every family that belonged to the 3 churches that this thing happened knew that people went to the bush. When 9 people or 11 people came back, we could count and ask, so person was in church, where is he? Oh, he was part of us, but he never came back. So we started, and the community started writing names from name 1 to the last 177 you saw. And then we also know among them those who have come back. So we have around over 60-something people after you remove 11 who are still in the bush. But you see, I have always said to people who care to listen, some of the time when we come to debate about this, we waste time talking about what is true. The most important thing is the few or the many ones that are with the bandits. Is anybody out there pursuing the bandit?
Okay.
Is anybody still waiting for the bandit to start ordering us before they pursue them? The bandits should be on the run and even run and leave our people. But because we take time discussing what is not, the bandits can now have the grace of organizing, coordinating, and later even call us to give them food, which we don't want it to happen. Because the bandits should know that there is government in Nigeria, there are security agencies in Nigeria who will not tolerate. And this brings us back to the first conversation. When people cannot do what is right, then outsiders may come in and say, we can help you do it. I know the capacity of Nigerian security agencies. I know they can do it. The politics that the people bring into security is what is hindering effective action. Can we stop it and allow and tell our security to be accountable and go out there and just bring our people back?
Indeed. So part of the statement by CSP Benjamin Hundeyin, Force Public Relations Officer, read, the Nigeria Police Force therefore activated coordinated security operations, working closely with other security agencies with a clear focus on locating and safely rescuing the victims and restoring calm to the area. What information do you have as to how the response for this incident happened?
Well, first, we just talked about the admittance. 2, even before the police publicly came out and admit, our people started adding their effort, what is happening. And development came up and we could track also where they are, but we are not armed people, we don't have what it takes. I did reported that to the police yesterday. I told the police, this is what the people are saying. They are tracking where the people are. Can you send your men? So I want to leave it at that level. The police knew I did that. Let them just go after these people and get our people, because not everything must be said in media. The most important thing is going after the criminals, rescuing our people, bring them back, and those who shamelessly deny should be men enough to apologize and don't pretend as if all is well.
Okay, in terms of the measures that the perhaps churches, security measures that they put in place, well, are they, I mean, for want of words, adequate? Because if 177, that is a lot of number. And then I just wonder how they operate, because, I mean, with the information you receive on a regular basis about how this kidnap usually happens, you might have an understanding of how they operate, what they come with, and then what's the proximity of the church to the bush. So all of those information, does the church process it and then improve upon their own internal security to see how do they ensure they, at least as much as they can, stave off this kind of incident?
I want to use this, your question, to speak to the church. You see, we have a lot of churches in the rural areas. And the rural areas also have the right to enjoy services and worship. But understanding the current situation, it is expected of us and our churches not to pack everybody during service into the church, to take some measures. We've run seminars about this. We've appealed in public places and in worship and in meetings. Unfortunately, we still have places that people don't understand this or have not started the practice. So I want to use this opportunity to plead with church GOs, denominational leaders, to speak to their pastors. There is no Bible verse that says that when people stay outside to watch while others are in service, they are not part of the worship. The blessing is the same. We must develop wisdom and our own strategy in protecting our place, as we also expect government to play their role. Because it's not just good every day we talk about this, security didn't do this, government didn't do this. As a pastor, I'm also in pain that what is happening to us? Why are we not also using the strategy that we can watch? So look, when we have, let's say 10, let's say 5, 15, or certain number of people in such service watching around, if the criminals are coming, they will also know that these people are prepared, or these people know and can raise alarm. But these mistakes keep happening. So as we chastise those who didn't treat us well, we must admit certain things some of us are not doing right, and ask on church leaders to do it, and to just analyze issues and go away. I felt as a pastor, and in my church where I pastor, it's not possible for us to all be in church. It must be a standing order that certain number of men, not young children, who do not even know what is a metal detector. I don't support that. Serious senior people, if you are in our church, whether you are a CP or an IG or you are a general manager, if you are in a church, I will make you an usher. You can also watch over the church, because this is part of worship. So we need to use this medium to teach ourselves and remind ourselves that we also have a responsibility to do what is right, and tell our rural churches to be watchful and to do what is right. We can't continue every day to making noise. We've been taken away. Well, few things we can do without stress. We are failing to do that. Regrettably, it has happened, but we will work towards continual advocacy and sensitization until every church and every pastor and every denomination begins to do the right thing.
Yeah, and the hope now is that the authorities, perhaps the governor knows better now, perhaps maybe take it with a pinch of salt, all those advice, and not run with them just like that. Well, thank you for talking to us this morning, Reverend Joseph Hayab, Chairman, Northern Christian Association of Nigeria.
Thank you for having me, and I pray that our people will come back, and come back very soon.
Yeah. Well, back in a moment. Stay on with us.